I'd like to humbly start this video off by saying I am by no means a fisherman, nor do I know much about the ins and outs of fishing at all, but I do know that it involves a reel, some bait, and you trying to catch a fish, which is why I assume they may call it fishing. I've only just started to learn how to fish, and my friend Ronnie here has given me some crazy insight into just how much goes into it. You can use certain rods, lures, baits, and all to attract certain types of fish. I always thought you just bought a rod, bought some worms, and hope for the best, but there's so much more to fishing than that. I'm beginning to realize that there's a lot of nuances and small details that go into fishing, and catching the fish you're looking for isn't always about luck. Again, I'm no expert on this topic and don't pretend to be, but from what I've been seeing, it seems like fishing also has a lot of skill involved. Ronnie was setting me up with a few different types of rigs and stuff and was giving me tips and instructions about how to use each one. Certain rigs and baits I would let sink to the bottom, others I would keep just a couple inches from the water's surface, and with some others I would try and act like a dying fish, using sudden jerking movements and then pausing and resting, kind of like I'm a fish that's tired and out of breath. This fascinated me because I realized that I had to try and act like a fish. I had to try and understand what I was looking to catch so that I could replicate certain behavior with my bait. Similarly, in life, if we have a goal in mind, it might do us well to try and change our habits and behaviors in order to match the habits and behaviors that are in alignment with achieving that goal. For example, if you want to hit a bodybuilding stage, it might be in your best interest to not eat like shit and drink every weekend. If you want to be a sports athlete, it might be beneficial for you to realize that you might have to sacrifice some habits and behaviors that will hinder your success. In any regard, having good habits and rituals in place will only benefit you in the long run. But aside from actually catching any fish, I'm beginning to see that fishing is more so about the experience and the lessons you learn in it. Ronnie says it's a great way for him to escape and get outside, becoming one with the water and with nature. He doesn't care if he gets dirty, muddy, or wet because that's all part of fishing. And fishing is a much grander concept than just catching a fish. If you see a spot that looks like a primetime spot to catch something, but it's dirty or muddy or it'll get you wet, and you do it anyway, that's just a great indicator that you're willing to do what it takes to reach your goal, catching a toad or a slauncher. Ronnie told me those were names for big fish, and I hope he wasn't just fucking with me. But for real though, it does say a lot about a fisherman who isn't afraid to get dirty to get what he wants. Pause on that. Yeah, pause on that. The first time I fished, I didn't catch anything. My rod got tangled up, trees got in the way, I got hooked on branches, and anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. But for some reason, I wasn't aggravated that any of that happened. I'd like to say a huge part of that is probably because Ronnie retied all my lines and stuff, so shout out to him for that. But in a much more real sense, I was just enjoying the time out, away from any distractions, hoping with each cast that I would get a bite, and being outside in some nice weather. It was relaxing and truly peaceful. I'm seeing that a lot of fishing requires a lot of patience, and if you don't have it, you probably won't fish for too long. Patience seems to be a big part of this game, and not only with the whole waiting to catch a fish thing, but being patient with newbies like myself, and being patient with the process of re-rigging your lines when you get stuck and having patience to fix your mistakes. Patience is an extremely valuable trait, and whether it be in fishing or in life, patience allows us to stay calm, keep our cool, and succeed in the best way possible. Rushed work usually isn't good work, so allowing ourselves to be patient is something that we can all benefit from. And while we are being patient, we can appreciate the nature around us. We can also appreciate the people fishing with us, and we can stay grounded in the present moment. Something that I struggle with a lot is keeping a present mind. I tend to wander off into possibilities, planning the next move, constantly on go, trying to stay a step ahead of the game. But here, while I'm fishing, it's pretty nice to just sit back, relax, and forget the troubles off the water. I can see how a lot of people enjoy it so much, and how it serves as a therapy of some sorts. We need these outlets in life, and we need those things to help us stay grounded. If it's outdoors, even better. In the world of technology, our brains don't take a break. The stimulation that we receive on a daily basis is insane, and it's up to us to realize when we're being overstimulated. We also have to realize when to take a step back and step out into the real world for a bit, touch some grass and relax. The cool thing that I've also begun to learn about fishing is, like I said before, there's so many small details and nuances within it, allowing you to learn forever. While reflecting on what to say for this episode, I realized that there's so many disciplines that we as humans can learn, and there's so many valuable hobbies that are at our feet to pick up. Fishing within itself can take you a lifetime to learn, along with fitness and self-help and really anything else you can think of. I've also come to realize that across all these disciplines, there's a lot of the same takeaways and life lessons that we can learn from. Regardless of if you're a bodybuilder, a fisherman, a chess player, or anything else in between, there's always a lesson to be learned, and always a way that you can apply that lesson to your own life. A lot of the lessons may be more similar than you think. A small example would be if you were trying to catch a trout. You would ideally use a certain rod with a certain line, with a certain rig and setup, and a certain style. In bodybuilding, if you were trying to grow your upper chest, you would use specific exercises with specific tempos and specific volume in order to grow your chest. And while I'm simplifying both of these things, we can realize that both disciplines require us to understand the specific needs of our goals and further understand the process to go about achieving it. And then we just have to go out and do it. And the interesting thing about fishing is that even though you can have all the right gear and tools and knowledge, it might just be a bad day of fishing and you might not catch a thing. You could be the best fisher in the world, and some schmuck next to you could catch a way bigger fish than you did on that day. We might see this in life too. You might see someone who doesn't work as hard as you, or someone who just doesn't care as much as you, given what you're working to achieve. And while it might be frustrating, it's important to understand that your fish is out there. It just hasn't bit yet. And that fish will probably be a big motherfucker, bigger than the schmucks next to you. So keep your head down, stay in your own lane, and don't worry about other people's fish. Worry about your own, because that's the only one that really matters anyway. I like fishing, man. It's fun, relaxing, and a great way to spend some free time. While I can't say I'll ever become a fishing sweat, I'll definitely be looking to spend more time on the water, trying to catch some big ass motherfuckers. So if you like this video, definitely go check out some of my others. I'm going to link them right there. And then I'm going to link my subscription right there if you want to. Either way, I definitely appreciate the watch, and I can't wait to hang out with you guys next week. Peace.